Oh.
Cry, little sister. So, welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. It is Thursday night, singles, episode 4 with me and Mara. How you doing, Mara?
Pretty good. I did a live gaming stream earlier where I almost rage quit and uninstalled the game because I hate campers in first-person shooter games and everything.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
almost rage uninstalled. But other than that, I'm doing well. So I'll be playing Armored Core 6 tomorrow afternoon. I've never played any of the Armored Core games, so this is my first time playing any of those games. I'll be noobing my way through tomorrow afternoon.
Right. Nice. So, tonight, folks, we are doing Lost Boys, and we got some people in the chat already. Hello, Vanya. Yep, Cry, Little Sister. Love that song. Just listened to it before we started. We also have Gravy D. Good evening, Orange and Mara. Hail, chat. And we have Trey Courtney in the chat. Good to see you, Trey. Always a pleasure.
Sounds like a flower. Yeah.
And so, the whole soundtrack, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have the talking points, some trivia, some, we're going to discuss some of the scenes. We're going to do all that, folks. And I'm trying something. I'm being bold. I'm bringing it up. So, yeah, I actually got it playing, or not playing, but I have certain timestamps that I'm going to go to as we are discussing, because we were actually talking about this behind the scenes before we started, that this is a movie that has vampires that fly. So.
Well, in human form, pretty much.
Yeah.
And incidentally, this completely revamped vampire book has
let's
David on it.
Yeah, let's do the solo layout to show.
I was telling about flying vampires, where it's like normally they change into a bat. So this was the first major picture to show them flying in human form, particularly when David and Michael are fighting each other. So
nice. And alrighty, so let's get back to the other layout. There we go.
Yeah.
And Miss Martin Muses, good to see you.
At the end of the stream, if we have time, if you want to see the documents I sent Stieg regarding vampire lore that he cannot deviate from, I'll share my screen real fast so you can guys see like how in depth I went with it.
All right. Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, so this movie stars Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, Jason Patrick, Diane Weist, Bernard Hughes, Edward Herrmann, Kiefer Sutherland, Jamie Gertz, and Alex Winter. Those are the big names that are known today.
Yeah.
And I love this scene here because, I mean, this movie has great aerial footage. Oh, shit. Let me mute. That is my mistake. But, yeah, look at the aerial, how well they did this. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit shaky, but
it makes sense. I'm fine with it being shaky because it's from the perspective of the vampires. So I would imagine it wouldn't exactly be a smooth.
Yeah.
It wouldn't exactly be a smooth flight path, essentially.
Well, they're basically gliding on the wind for the most part in this one.
Yeah, so I wouldn't expect it to be smooth or anything like that. But even the beginning of the film, I find it, yes, it's like children singing part of the song, but it's like eerily beautiful. Opening song, and like the shot of it's like following the ocean as it's like then pans out to see the amusement park on the beach. So I appreciate that shot as well.
Yeah, and Kiefer Sutherland actually did not want to do this movie at first, folks. That's one of the fun facts here, where he was won over by Inxus. The song "Good Times" in this movie is what sold him to be in this movie. So thank you, Inxus, or INXS, or whatever. You guys got Kiefer Sutherland to be in this movie.
INXS, pretty much, is how it's pronounced.
Yeah, INXS. All right, Inxus, INXS. There you go. Did you meant to put "Cry Little Sister," or did you put it? Because I had that before I started the stream. Vanya. Vanya is one of the one of the loyals, folks. He is one of the Hat loyals. So, or as is Miss Martin. She has also been in the chat a lot. Thank you, Miss Martin. So, yeah. What did you think of the opening with the cinematography, getting it going, and how basically they're on the carousel?
Mm-hmm.
There's a fight that breaks out, and he's like, "Told you guys not to be on the Broadway." So they just straight up go after this dude and slaughter
on the boardwalk, which is like, and like, yeah, like, yeah, it's like, it's one of those situations where it's like, it's all like man, like the guy's innocent pretty much. Like you would, I'm not saying you would root for his death if he only targeted, David's group or anything like that. But he basically targeted both groups. He's like, you guys off the boardwalk. He targeted both. It's not like he had it in for David, Marco, Paul, and Wayne. Those are the 4 vampire names, pretty much. It's not like he had like in specifically for them, but I like that it kind of sets the punk era tone because it's late 80s going into early 90s, and the whole attitude towards authority.
Mm-hmm.
And when you combine that with the fact that they're vampires, so it's like, so they are able to pretty much remove him as a problem, pretty much, to like, their control of the boardwalk, so to speak. So it's not just them being punks. I liked it.
Yep. And also they kept it mysterious because they don't exactly tell you who is doing the killing. I mean, yes, they showed a small little bit here of the boys, or, well, they're more like men at this point. But but it's also a fun note that the words "the Lost Boys" not used once in this film.
No.
And it's also based off of Peter Pan.
Yeah. So again, that's another thing I appreciate because it's an allusion to Peter Pan, and it makes sense essentially when you
much darker allusion.
It's a darker it's a darker undertone to that too, but it makes sense in a way when you have the essentially twist at the end sort of a situation and why they're Lost Boys.
Yeah.
So.
And because, folks, these are boys that basically just wanted to be loved, or, well, the Lost Boys from Peter Pan just wanted to be loved, and they never wanted to grow old, which is one of the big things that they say, you'll never grow old, but you must feed.
Yeah.
And it really is a nice touch in this, that there is that little parallel. Another fun fact, this movie started the 2 Coreys trend. Both would co-star alongside one another for years going through License to Drive, Dream a Little Dream, Blown Away, National Lampoon's Last Resort, Dream a Little Dream 2, and Busted, along with Corey Haim showing up for a brief cameo in Lost Boys 2's alternate endings, and also a post-credit scene from Lost Boys 2 where Sam ended up getting bit by a vampire and turned. And
I saw License to Drive and the Dream a Little Dream movies, and I believe I saw Last Resorts.
Yeah.
But I know I definitely saw the Dream a Little Dream movies and License to Drive with the Coreys. So.
And there was also a show, The 2 Coreys, or called The 2 Coreys, which actually started the exposing of Hollywood's mistreatment and abuse of actors and actresses.
That's why, it's like another level of why it was heartbreaking when Corey Haim passed away because of finding out his years of substance abuse and things like that, and where it stemmed from, pretty much. So, Hollywood has always been a cesspool. It's like I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to diminish what exactly happened to Corey Haim, but at the same time, it's it's really nothing new. We're seeing it now. Now that social media is more prevalent, we're seeing it a lot more. But Hollywood's always been a cesspool. Yeah, it's Soul Assassin. That's I guess YouTube is gronking pretty much.
Well, if it is, I'm only showing a still. I'm not showing anything. Did it get? Or can everybody see?
It might be just the stream. So, because you're getting a loading icon. So, it might be just YouTube's end.
Okay, so if it's YouTube's end, I am sorry. I can't
Yeah.
fix that. So we then get introduction to the Emerson family.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, Michael, and Lucy. Diane Weiss played a naive but still a very much loving and yet firm mother. I mean, I thought that was a great scene when it introduces them.
Yeah, like she's, and like you find out that the reason why they're moving is because she and her husband have like divorced, so she's still trying to be optimistic
Yeah.
despite the situation, because like they're moving to Santa Clara, and as they're passing the billboard sign, it says "Murder Capital of the World," and
Yep.
like that, they're driving there because they're going to be living with her father while she
Yeah.
gets back up on her feet, played by Bernard
Gotta,
Hughes, and
gotta love the introduction to him because it's like he's just laying there on the ground as they
it
pull up.
basically sets the tone for the character. Like the character is just eccentric, incredibly eccentric.
I'm willing to bet they wanted George Carlin, or no, George Carlin would have been younger. If they had an older George Carlin for this movie, I guarantee you they would have freaking hired him for it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of vibes he gave off, kind of like a Willie Nelson and George Carlin vibe.
Yeah.
But he played it so freaking masterly.
Oh yeah. I mean, I like when he's going over. I like when he's going over the rules, pretty much, of the house, and I basically I just love the character because like I said, he's eccentric, he's weird, but he's like it's not extreme or anything like that. It's not like
he's also a taxidermist.
Yeah, it's not over the top or anything, which I appreciate because there's so many times when inevitably the performance gets a bit too exaggerated. So like, okay, I can't really believe that someone's that eccentric and things like that. Where he plays it just level enough that's like for example when Sam thinks that they're going to be driving into town because he's showing him his classic car, and all he does is get in, turn on the engine, and then turn it off, and it's like that's as close to town as I want to get.
Yeah, and there's a reason why, folks. We don't learn until the end, but there's a reason why, and I love what he says to his or to his grandkids. If all the corpses buried around here were to stand up all at once, we'd have one hell of a population problem.
Yeah.
And Corey Haim, Sam is bitching about no TV. And he's like, the TV guide. Now, if you see the little or corner here peeling off, don't pull it off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got TV guide, but no TV. If you got TV guide, you don't need the TV.
Yes, I know. I love it. I love that logic. It's like no, I just read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. You don't need a TV. I'm just loving that logic.
I mean, I actually remember TV guides, folks. I'm old enough to remember that shit.
Yeah, that's how we planned what we were going to record and watch. Essentially, is we waited for the TV guide to be delivered in the mail because it's like once a week. It had the week's worth of listings and things like that. You can like scroll through and that's how we figured it out. It was before Dish and all that shit, pretty much.
And then there's a reason why I'm pulling this up, folks. This specific bit here with Sexy Sax Man. So the boys go into town at night for some a bit of it. Apparently, there was a direct sequel comic made for this, and the Sexy Sax Man, as well I call him, and a few other people call him, actually played a role in the comics. I can't remember what role he played, but it's like, what?
Because all we see here is this, pretty much. That's it.
Yeah. And all we know of it is this. And
I like the song. I like the song, but that's it.
And let's see if I can find a shot of Jamie. Well, yeah, perfect. Jamie Gertz coming up here. Well, she's passing through. Right. I mean, Jamie Gertz, when she was younger, folks, hot. Well, let's play it a little bit. God dang it. Let's go back a little 5 seconds. There we go. There she is. And what we learn in this movie is that in this moment she likes him and whatnot, but she was also this was supposed to be her first kill, which it's like, oh damn, you know. Tim Capello, aka the Sax Man, came back for a music video that was inspired by the movie. Oh, nice.
So basically, the Sax Man was supposed to be your first kill?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
No. Michael was supposed to be the first kill.
Oh, Michael was supposed to be the first kill. Okay.
Yep. Michael was not supposed to be turned. He was supposed to be the first kill, but she took a liking to him, and therefore they decided to turn him instead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The grandfather has a pot plant outside his window, like straight up, right outside his window. Doesn't care.
No shit, Soul Assassin. She owns the Hawks. I don't even know who the Hawks are in the NBA.
I don't follow sports at all, but the fact that she owns a team.
Neither do I. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, I know Jamie Kurtz mostly by Still Standing, the show, with her and Mark Addy playing parents of 3 very annoying kids. Oh my God, that show is freaking hilarious. I mean, one of the best lines from her in that show is because one of her kids is bitching about some of the stuff. And she's like, honey, one day you're going to look back on this day and realize how little we care.
I love that. Like, that is exactly the type of parent I would be, pretty much.
Yeah. What was that high-pitched thing just now?
My mom texted me. I'll be right back. Sorry, chat.
That's all right. She'll be back, folks.
Talk about, so I'll be back.
So I'll keep you all entertained. Well, it is my stream, so I should. Still Standing. Yeah, I mean, that show was freaking... I loved watching it because it was just so freaking hilarious. I mean, she's literally talking about getting it from the back and while they're watching a hockey game, and freaking Mark at her, and she's like, and I can hear you saying, hey, down in front. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, I call him greased up sax guy. Nice. Yeah, the pot plants grow are good to see it. The pot plants growing. Funny thing, you should say this, and I'll actually point this out when Mark gets back. About the Santa Cruz. I'll actually point this out to you right now, but I'll bring it back up when she gets back. This movie was filmed in Santa Cruz, but there was a condition. There was a condition. So let me go through the chat, see how everybody's doing. Grandpa knew what was up. Yes, he did. I mean, it. That was such a dead giveaway at the end when he's just walking through his house, but we'll get there. Still Standing at this moment. Tech support. What? Let me enter. Yeah. She was a total MILF on that show. Yes, she was. I mean, holy shit. Folks, there were these 2 lesbians next door that had a son in that show. And she basically is dressing up all sexy to get the kid to do all sorts of different things around their house to help him fix the house and shit. And so she was like, what do you want me to do? Give him a lap dance so he can fix the gutters? And her husband's literally like, sure, why not? You know? And so she dresses in the skimpy top, almost kind of like that one, but loose on the bottom. And, well, his moms show up. And so she's hauling in some freaking 2 pitchers of lemonade. Let's go up to the bedroom. Oh, shit. Because the fucking moms show up. It's fucking great. Oh, Lord, it was awesome. Oh, wait. Yeah, she was a total MILF in that show. Hey. Like I said, if I find him, I will get him to you. Feldman, yep. That is awesome to hear. Glad Feldman's rapist was caught. Today was the first time in like 10 years I watched Lost Boys. Nice. I watched it the other day, and then I watched it earlier to get it fresh in my head because I like or I always, when I watch movies, folks, I watch it twice. Once to get it back into my head, a second time to get the talking points down. So if it is for a stream, and also to make sure that I have everything accurate for when I'm doing the stream. And yes, follow Mara on Twitter. Yeah, I remember when they were shooting it there. Yep, because they were shooting it there. Wait, were you there, RR? Because the way you're wording that, yeah, I remember when they were shooting it. You were there? Like, seriously, dude, please confirm whether or not you were there, because that would totally be cool. And yeah, that would like totally be the freaking shit. The director gave Corey a list of action films to watch. Yep, I have that as one of the I have that in the trivia that we're going to do once Mara gets back. So, hello. Thank you all for tuning in. Also, folks, if you can, make sure to give that like button some blood. But just don't short out your computers. And always remember to like, subscribe if you are new. I had 1,300 subscribers earlier today, but now I'm back down to 1,299. So it's like, you frickers, YouTube. So, yeah. Oh my God, that is nuts. Dude, RR. He was there. It was backyard growing up. God damn, dude, that is so freaking cool. Yeah, that is freaking awesome. Hung out at the boardwalk quite a bit. That is freaking cool, dude. That is freaking cool. We actually had somebody that was at the place while they were freaking watching the movie get filmed. Damn. That is pretty nuts. Let's see here, making sure the talking points are still up on my phone. So, let's see here. Yeah, he was the third. He was the third frog brother. Nice. Good Bad Flicks, Lost Boys Radio. Nice. But yeah, still standing, man. Love that show. I believe the youngest of the three kids actually then later would be in, I think it's her, would later be in Criminal Minds as the one that Tim Curry would steal from the parents before killing the father, because he would be a serial killer in that. I think that's the same girl. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. The universe from Bill and Ted became a vampire. Or in this universe, Bill from Bill and Ted. Yeah. Alex Winter was. Oh, it's all right.
Mara Jade tech support.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyway.
But yeah, I was just keeping them entertained. The fun fact, turns out RR lived in Santa Cruz while this film was filming.
All right.
So yeah, we got somebody who was actually there. That's pretty cool. Yeah, headcanon. So Soul Assassin brought up that Santa Cruz, or RR brought up Santa Cruz was the place where they were filming. They only allowed it to be filmed in Santa Cruz because also in real life, Santa Cruz was pretty much the murder capital of the world at the time. But they only allowed it to be filmed if they changed the name to Santa Carla.
Yeah.
So then we get the Max or we see the mom going around, and we see how this kid is just crying. And she helps the kid, brings him into Max's store, and the Lost Boys go in there. It's a VHS store, and let's see if I can actually find the scene, because there is a girl in the scene at the store. Let's see here. Yep, this is where she finds the boy. And you actually think that, oh my God, this parent probably got taken. There's her, or Max.
Yeah.
And there's Thorn.
Yeah.
Hello, Thorn.
Good boy. Good boy.
He was such a good boy.
Yeah.
Before he tried ripping her dress apart. But yeah, okay, and this was such a great bit here where the mom actually found the kid. It's like, oh my God. Now, the girl on the right here, Kelly Jo Minter, there was actually a subplot with her in this film, but this is the only time you see her in this film. But in the opening credits, you see her name is displayed where she would have a greater role.
Mm-hmm.
They cut out a ton of her scenes.
Oh, damn.
So it's like, oh, shoot, man. Because it's like maybe they were going to try turning her, which I'm guessing is probably what they were planning on doing.
Something along those lines, I would imagine, because they come into the store saying like we only come to watch one thing. So
yeah,
I would imagine that like they would try to turn her.
Yeah, I mean they're probably hitting on her in this scene, and then Max basically tells the boys, "It's like I told you not to come in here." I don't blame Schumacher for those Batman movies. Yeah, I blame the studios for Schumacher's Batman. Yeah, okay. What did I miss in the chat? This was one of Schumacher's best films. Yes. This was directed by Schumacher. It was originally supposed to be directed by Richard Donner, but it turns out Richard Donner walked away because he had a different vision for this film, which is it was going to be more like The Goonies. Richard Donner was the original director, like a treasure hunt with kid friendliness. This could have been a totally different movie, folks.
I'm glad they went with Schumacher and this tone because kid friendliness with vampires does not work. In my opinion, at least. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it's one of those situations where I'm like, no, I want my vampires to be vampires. Scary.
Yeah. And he left to do Lethal Weapon instead, and thank God. And Lethal Weapon actually has the Lost Boys at the theater in the scene where they show the theater in the back. You actually see the Lost Boys this summer's hit. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, damn, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So then we get
this vision. So
yep. So let's see here. We then meet the Frog Brothers, and Corey Feldman did have a. He was given a list of movies to watch, and one of them was, obviously Rambo, Last Blood Part 2. Now let me see if I can actually find it. Let's see here. Sequel. The Frog Brothers influence Edgar Allan Poe. Feldman was told to get into action movie state of mind, so he watched Rambo and Missing in Action. So yeah, the Frog Brothers are named Edgar and Allan, as in Edgar Allan Poe, which was a nice little thing.
Yeah.
And he believes in truth, justice, and the American way.
Yeah. I love that.
That is so funny. It's like, oh my God, dude. But yeah, Donner had the right idea for Superman, but he was dead wrong for the idea of this film.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved Corey Haim's interaction, Sam's interaction with the Frog Brothers initially, because he's correcting them on the placement of Superman comics, incidentally, while on the lookout for a Batman number 14 comic. And so they make a remark like, where the hell are you from? Krypton? And he's like, Phoenix, actually. But lucky me, we moved here. I loved how Haim delivered that line.
And for those of you who don't know, Haim was came off of another supernatural beast movie, which was Silver Bullet, because he did that in 85 and then does this in 87. So it's like, dude, you covered the top two of the monster pantheon.
Yeah.
Would have
And
been
that's
cool if he
like
was in the
another
movie.
movie that I believe like you're going to want to do in October, but
Yes,
I read the novella, and the novella is like completely different to
I
the
have
film
the novella.
adaptation, to the film adaptation, and
Yep.
to the point where I actually prefer the film to the
All right.
novella.
Yeah, the novella is good, but the movie is actually very, very good.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, all right, you'll be lurking. Trey, thank you so much. Looking up Schumacher, had no idea he was dead. Oh, damn. Yeah, Joel Schumacher died. And yep, Time to Kill.
Sorry.
And folks, turns out a few people were actually watching True Lies that I know earlier, and it's like they asked me if I could do a stream on True Lies. I have to basically find physical media for True Lies, and then I got to pull out a physical media player. I watch all my stuff on digital. I have a ton of physical media. I just don't have the resource to play it right now because, well, everything's gone digital. And unfortunately, James Cameron is such a fucking prick that he won't allow certain of his movies onto digital libraries like Vudu or Amazon or Movies Anywhere or any of that, or YouTube and Google. So yeah, The Abyss, I was looking at, or I was actually going to try buying that today. And it's like not available for purchase. It's like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll allow Aliens, he'll allow other freaking movies, but not True Lies, not The Abyss. And it's like, you son of a bitch, man.
He's pretty much been a prick for years. So.
Yeah, the success of Avatar has only allowed him to gain an even bigger freaking head for it.
Yeah. Like he's always been leftist. It's just now blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
With certain things. So
then I also do love that one that he mentions. I'm actually looking for a Batman 14. That's a very serious comic book, my friend. Yeah. Only 4 left, or 4 in existence, or 5 in existence.
Yeah, like 4 actually.
Yeah, 4 actually. And a fun fact, because we're not going to cover the bad movie sequels. The third movie of this trilogy, because it is technically a trilogy, but I don't
acknowledge the sequels, really.
Feldman does get a Batman 14. He managed, or Edgar Frog actually manages to score a Batman 14 in the wrapper. And while he's lighting up a joint driving, he accidentally gets a little bit of a freaking sparks onto it, and it's like, oh goddamn! So I'm like, dude, you fucked up Batman 14. What the fuck is wrong with you? I mean, I'm pretty sure Lethal would just have a heart attack if he saw that scene.
Oh yeah, he would.
But honestly, I plan on rewatching those 2 just to do smaller reviews on my channel for the Lost Boys, Tribe and Thirst. But I have seen them, and I know that they are not as good as this one. But I enjoyed it. But there is such a freaking paradoxical universal crossover, because isn't Corey Feldman in the Goonies?
Yeah, they're both. Corey Feldman's in the Goonies. And that was like what, 85?
I think it was like 83, 84. What year did Temple of Doom come out? Because Short Round's in it.
Temple of Doom was 84.
So yeah, Goonies was like 84, 85.
Yeah, so I knew it was like the mid 80s. So it would have been around the same time as Corey Haim was in Silver Bullets. Like not exactly, but it would have been close to the same time.
And get this, in the second movie, The Tribe, the main character's aunt wants to watch the Goonies. Edgar Frog's in that movie, folks. Corey Feldman. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of trippy shit is this? This is like universal freaking paradoxical shit that would make your head explode. You know? So, yeah. We then get meeting the boys and the bike ride. Oh my god, the freaking how they can control the mist and they bring him up to a cliff. That is, or basically the boys are messing with Michael and trying to see if he's worthy enough to turn, because Jamie Gertz took a liking to him. So they freaking ride him up onto a cliff, almost off a freaking cliff. And it's like, oh, damn, dude. And I love how he just takes a shot at Kiefer. It's like, you and me right now. Not them, just you.
Yeah.
And but the main part that I do like is the cave. I'm not going to show that because that would most definitely get this stream taken down. He hands him some Chinese food, rice.
For me, so if I cut out, it's because of that.
All right, yeah. So
yeah,
they're eating Chinese rice. He's like, "How those maggots? What? You're eating maggots, Michael? How those maggots?" And he's like, he looks down, crawling. Yeah. It's like, oh damn. I mean, so that establishes these guys can play tricks with your mind. Not done past this scene. Afterward, though, which kind of sucks. And then he's like, here, how about some noodles? They're worms. No, don't eat. They're just noodles, Michael. I mean, I just love how they're playing. But that was all part of the whole plan. Yeah. So it's like they want to fool him, make him think it's not real. And then he tells his buddy to bring some wine in because he actually whispers the word wine, but it's actually blood. So when Jamie's like, don't drink it, Michael, it's blood. Right. Slug. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, you freaking moron. You fell for the oldest trick in the book when it comes to a psychological perspective. They basically dropped your guard to the point where you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. And to answer Gravy's question about the comic, I don't like, I think it's an exaggeration when they said there's only 5 in existence, but the comic itself is like from the 1940s. So when you're trying to find a comic that old, that's like why, like that's why they said it was a very serious book, pretty much, because it's from like 1942 or 43, pretty much. But it's basically at the point of the movie about 45 years old.
Looking it up, holy shit! A mint condition value of Batman number 14 is worth $13,145.
Yeah, so it is a very serious book if you can get your hands on it. But yeah,
it's a very serious.
I don't think it's like not necessarily as rare, I would say. Or at least when that movie was made, it wouldn't exactly have been as rare, but it's old, which would make it valuable.
So in fact, while its status as an early Batman comic makes it valuable in its own right, it's not believed to be only 5 in existence rare. Yeah. And a 9.8 graded copy apparently goes for around $54,000. Yeah. That's as of February 24th, 2021. So yeah.
It's a little bit more now with some inflation, but still, like I said, that's that's why they said it's a serious book. So
it's a very serious comic book, my friend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can actually pull the Feldman voice if I need to, because he's actually trying to sound like Stallone in this. So yeah,
Superman's Truth, Justice, and American Way.
Yeah, Truth, Justice, the American Way.
Yes.
I mean, he freaking sells it so well. And let's see here. Rough Girl, good to see ya. Miss ya. How you been? Let me know how you're doing.
Yeah.
So, back to this. Crap, it went off. All right. So, we then get the train tracks and the fall. Oh my god, the train track scene was freaking nuts. Let me see if I can pull that up. I think it's like 30 minutes in. No, they were doing 31 minutes. Yep, 31 minutes in. I love how they just drop down, scaring the hell out of him, and then he realizes, oh, we're just hanging out. You know? See if I could bring that up.
Like basically, it's another step in the process of him turning.
Yeah, they want to.
David even says, like, "You're one of us, Michael."
Yeah. Can't stay. Oh, well, take it easy.
Make it easy.
Rough girl, and have fun, but not too much fun, you know? So let's bring up the screen back up. They're just hanging out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love that scene because it's like, then the freaking train comes and everybody's trying to hold on. And it's like, let go, Michael, you're one of us. Let go, what the fuck? So he lets go, and it's kind of one of the cheesiest falls ever because he's just falling and falling. And he's like, And I'm like, what kind of acting is that? Because they show it twice. They show him react exactly like that. They reused the shot, and they did it twice. And then he just turns up in bed. And I also love the taxidermist grandpa giving freaking Corey Feldman a freaking gopher or stuffed gopher as a bedside present.
And he keeps giving him his projects.
It's freaking running guy. It's like, I wish he would stop giving me these damn things. Yeah. And he's giving him all the scariest looking animals. Freaking owl, a freaking gopher, freaking coyote or fox and shit. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with that? So, oh my God. So yeah, then we get the Michael is starting to change, and the dog is just not having it. Nanook. I love their dog's name. Nanook. Hey, Freaky, good to see you.
Yeah, he literally has a closet of stuffed animals.
Yeah.
So
right.
I'm like, so basically he's starting, like he's already like the process of him turning is already started, but now it's like starting to take over because
he's starting to
feel the urge, which is why because his brother is taking a bath, he feels the urge to feed.
Mm-hmm.
But their dog, or Sam's dog, pretty much, because Sam calls him my dog, pretty much. So we're assuming basically Nanook is Sam's dog.
And Sam's and Nanook's in the freaking bathroom with Sam while Sam's taking a bath.
Yeah.
And I love how the dog literally just bolts at freaking Michael as he's coming in and tackles him outside. And then you just hear a small little scuffle, and Sam gets up. And I love how they do the pull away to like know that something is indeed wrong. That's a good way of visual storytelling. Me and my family love this movie, and my dad, and he doesn't like horrors. Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, this movie has a lot of freaking horror element, believe me. And yes, the dog can sense that there is an animal difference in Michael, essentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Animals know, folks. Animals know. With a wrench, never seen her. She's been with my channel for a while. Hatterosaurus. She's been with my channel for a while, but she's been busy with home repair and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. She's one of my trusteds and loyals. Mm-hmm. So we then see that Michael gets bitten in the hand and Nanook, and then he's like, Michael, what's wrong with your reflection, man? He's like, my own brother, a shit-sucking vampire. Wait till mom hears about this. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, this we didn't mention, like, periodically up until this point, the Frog Brothers have been essentially pawning vampire comics onto Sam.
Yeah, letting him know all the different stuff. And he's like, told you, not into horror comics. Think of it as a survival guide.
Manual. So now, like, when he sees, like, what's happening with Michael and his reflection, it's like the survival manual. Like, it's just like kicked in pretty much.
And so he sleeps it off, and then he calls in the Frog Brothers. Michael's floating problem. Now, a lot of people have asked, why is he floating outside of the house? It's because he's turning into a vampire and he hasn't been invited.
Yeah.
It's the invitation rescindment, essentially, consequence of becoming a vampire. So, actually, the show Vampire Diaries actually covers this very well. What happens when a vampire is in a house that he hasn't been invited to? It essentially, well, in this case, in this movie, he's just floated out of the house. exiled from the house physically. Where in the show, one of the original vampires gets resurrected inside of the house that he hasn't been invited to. So it is extremely painful, and he has to rush out of the house. So it's like, oh shit. So basically,
if you think about it, technically, yeah, that makes sense because the mother would have been the one invited to the house.
mm-hmm.
She would just taken her sons with her, pretty much.
Yeah.
So technically, officially, Michael and Sam have not been invited to the house or into the house. So, and my dog's name is Wendy.
Yeah. Your dog's name is Wendy?
It's do you know Wallace and Gromit shorts?
I've seen them.
The close shave shorts, the Wendoline character, Wendoline Ramquaden. That's the inspiration for her name, pretty much. So Wendy for shorts. So not the fast food chain. It's just after Wallace and Gromit character.
You know, I always wondered why Michael was flying out of the window, but now I know. Yeah, it's because his body is rejecting or was not invited in.
Mm-hmm.
And when you turn, you're exiled from whatever structure you are in if it is owned.
Mm-hmm.
So my husky's name is Storm. I had a husky named Kendrick, and there's a person who has an Alaskan husky, which actually became the butt of a joke a while back, named Askum. Yeah, it's like, what's your dog's name? Askum. And the idiot actually tried asking the dog, what's your name? He's not telling me. That's because his name is Askum. It's like, you fucking
oh my god.
And it became a widely spread joke. No joke. So it's like, holy shit, man. I mean, I love how a lot of people use different native names for huskies. So, yeah.
Kafir.
Hmm?
Years ago, we had a dog named Kafir.
Kafir.
Mm-hmm.
And so then there's the frickin' Michael starts, or Sam calls his mom freaking out, and she ends up leaving a date with Max. And because frickin' Michael's outside the house floating, he also happens to have the receiver, or the phone receiver. It's like, don't listen to him, Mom, he's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, says the dude that's literally floating outside. And so she gets there, and he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, or I just had a bad dream or something, whatnot. The bullshit reason. And then she's like, what does it smell? It smells like garlic. He has a freaking garlic necklace on. It's like, Mom, can I sleep in your room?
I know.
Oh my god. So, yeah, then we see that Max is out walking, and the boys are like to basically harass Max to let him know, yeah, motherfucker, we're around.
Yeah.
And you don't understand exactly why, but later on it is very much explained.
Yes.
That he is, in fact, the one who turned them all. And so we then get Thorn from the dog. And I love how the mom runs over to Max's to basically give him a bottle of wine because, well, she had to abruptly leave. It's the nice thing to do. It's basically a party favor for having to run out. It's an I'm sorry gift, so to speak. Well, Thorn starts chasing her, and this just happens to coincide with Sam reading a Hounds from Hell, part of the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes and tells Frog Brothers, and it's like, yeah, we'll check out this guy, Max. And so Max decides to come over to dinner.
This was the big clue for me when I watched it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least the first, or like the major red flag.
Yeah. And he comes over, and Mike answers the door, and he's like, well, I'm going to be a gentleman, and I'm not going to step in until you invite me in. Motherfucker, what? Like, red flag.
Yeah.
That is the biggest red flag until you invite me in.
Yes.
What is every vampire's wet dream, folks? To be invited in so he could easily slaughter everybody. Oh, Fine, I invite
Once
you
the vampires invited in, they don't have to be invited again. Pretty much so.
Exactly. And so then we get to this dinner, and she's like, "Oh, or there's a mention that vampires have bad breath and whatnot." So I was like, "Oh, somebody's breath really stinks." And the Frog Brothers' ears just perk up, like, "Huh?" And they start looking at Max.
And they're looking at Max. They're looking at Max.
So they then try with the garlic, which doesn't work. They spill holy water on him. Doesn't do anything. And then they cut the lights. And freaking, I love how Alan Frog does the candles with his fingers. It's like, okay, these boys are badasses. So how better to make them look like a badass? Well, okay, we're gonna cut the candles with our fingers. It's like, yep, badass boys. And then they turn on the light, and there's the freaking mirror in his face, which shows he has a reflection.
Yeah.
So it's like, maybe they were wrong. Maybe this dude's dog just had PMS or some shit. So yeah, 10126. We're getting now to the other scene that I am going to bring up, which is, let me go to 10126. Let's see here. Right. And alrighty here. 1, 2. There we go. The reveal of the most vampire and also Sith eyes I have ever seen outside of Star Wars.
I did like how they made the vampires look.
Yeah. This reveal was like some of the, folks, freaking Kiefer here literally bites into a bald head like it's nothing. I remember this scene being a lot gorier when I was younger, but then again, what is that called? The Mandela effect?
Something like that, yeah.
And yes, sub tomorrow, and catch the replay of the 1s and 2s. Max wanted a mom for the boys, yeah. Like Buck Rogers. Yep. Sorry, folks, if I get behind on the chat, I do apologize. That's a mean-looking vampire. Yes, this scene was shot so well, and freaking Michael just freaks out about it. And they tell him the very famous line, "You'll never grow old, Michael. You'll never die. But you must feed."
Yeah.
And, well, then that night, he's back at the house, and Star shows up, and then she just zips up into the window, and it's like, okay, vampire, yeah. But she's actually what's known as a half vampire, as is Michael, because they haven't killed yet.
Yeah.
And I love how Sam is just under his sheets talking about this. It's like, yeah, because you haven't had your first kill yet.
It's like he's supposed to head out, and like he's like giving us information.
Yeah. And it's like, how was she invited in? How did she get in? It does make one wonder.
Yeah.
And that is where some of the objective flaws come in. She wasn't invited in, so how the hell is she allowed in? Unless...
Well, her being a half vampire, I think she would allow her because she hasn't been completely turned.
But then again, so is Michael, and he got exiled from his own house. So I guess that theory doesn't...
It's one of those things where they take they take some liberties with the lore that...
Yeah. It's an inconsistent, or let's just call it an inconsistent continuity error.
Mm-hmm.
And, but yeah, it does make one wonder, because also Michael was only allowed back into the house when his brother let him back in. And pretty much relented and let him in, which is basically the same as an invitation. Now, another fun fact, Ben Stiller was nearly in this movie. It's unclear as to who he auditioned as. He might have auditioned as Michael. He could have auditioned as one of the other boys. But it was not to be, and you'll never believe who else was considered as Michael for this film. Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it would not have worked.
No, it would not have. Jim Carrey, folks, was considered for this movie. And I'm thinking to myself, was that while Donner was in charge?
Maybe. Like a stretch.
Yeah.
Maybe I could see him as one of the vampire gang.
Yeah.
Maybe, but not as Michael.
Yeah. And then we get to the Frog Brothers steal the grandfather's car. I mean, I believe that is an Oldsmobile, right? Or Cadillac.
I believe so. I don't know my cars that well, but they steal the grandfather's car.
He's like, yeah, don't worry, Grandpa, we'll be back with it. And he's like, eh. I mean, the grandfather is literally just like, nah, whatever. This shot of Kiefer is creepy as fuck. Well, dude, I'll tell you what, Trey. I will send that as a screenshot to your inbox later. If they allow me to screenshot it, because they don't allow me to screenshot certain things because of copyright. So let's pull this down for a bit. And so they actually go to the cave. They have holy water, garlic, and all that other stuff.
I love when they're stealing holy water from the church and they're storing a baptism, and they're just like these canteens, and like the parents and the priest are just staring at them.
Yeah, everybody's just staring at them. This old lady's looking at them, and they leave. But Alan Frog is like
this. Like, yeah. I love when I leave.
Party on, God.
Yeah, pretty much. I love that.
And so then we get them to the cave, and it's like, I thought they slept in coffins. That's what this cave is. It's a giant coffin. And they're sleeping upside down like bats, which is pretty cool, freaking cool.
I like that. I did like that. Let's start with the little one.
Yeah, we'll start with the little one. And when they stab him, just freaking green goop, blood, and all sorts of other shit comes spilling out. Freaking gets all over freaking the Frog Brothers. They're screaming. Now, when they actually escape, Kiefer Sutherland, I love his reaction in this when he's chasing him out and his hand gets on fire, so he backs up. He actually tears up.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God. So it's like, even though they're psychotic killing vampires, he still feels. His brother was just killed. So it's a nice freaking move. Directorially. Yeah, good night, bloodsucker.
Yeah, I love that. And he screams, "You're dead meat."
Yeah, you're dead meat. Jim worked in Once Bitten, but that was a comedy.
Yeah, he wouldn't
worked at all in this movie. Yeah.
Not with the tone the movie took. It wouldn't have worked. Like, Jim Carrey has shown that he could be a good dramatic actor, but at the time his focus was comedy.
Yeah, he was a comedy typecast.
Yeah,
and it seemed like the vampires had a psychic link when one got hurt. Exactly, because when they stabbed into one, all of them woke up.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, so it's like, oh shit,
Which is true to vampire lore, because if you watch like the old Hammer horror films, like when one of Dracula's brides is staked, like a vampire will wake up, because it does feel, and it does sense when another vampire has been staked, especially one that has
connected to that line.
Connected to that line is either been directly turned or connected in some way.
Because also in Bram Stoker's Dracula, when Lucy gets staked and beheaded, you see Dracula react while he is in his earth box.
Yes.
After binging. So yeah, we should discuss that movie too sometime. And let's see here. So also there was they take out Laddie and Star from there to get them away from him. And I love how when they're running out, they're like, or Michael, start the car. Michael's just passed out with the others. And so it's like, we don't ride with vampires. Okay.
Yeah, no, like, it's like we do now.
We do
We
now.
do now. I love that.
And I love it. It's like, burn rubber. And they hit the gas and they're going backwards. It's like, oh, shit. I mean, I honestly thought with how close they were, they're going over. There was no way they could. So they actually have to cut upward or from a downward angle pointing upward to see that the car backs out. It's like, oh, such a lucky bastard. It's like, dude, when we say burn rubber, it does not mean slide on the gas or some shit. And so they have to get Grandpa out of the house and make their preparations for when the kids are coming. And Sam tries telling his mom, but she's not having it. And so they get the house basically set up for vampires to come and visit. And before we get into that, we have another fun fact. There is a sequel that never happened. And it was called The Lost Girls. There was actually supposed to be a sequel to this called The Lost Girls, which would have had female vampires instead of males. And David played by Kiefer Sutherland, was going to reprise his role. However, it just never got off the ground. So that's an interesting little tidbit fact. Now let me get this to 1 hour 17 minutes. Let's see here. Because there's a scene here. Let's see here. Alrighty. When they wake up to go hunting, because I gotta show you guys the great freaking feat that these guys have. Because, it's just never a real vampire movie without seeing their fucked up, fugly feet. Anybody have a foot fetish?
Nope. Nope. Like I said, it's like I appreciate that because they're like bats. They're hanging like bats in their cave.
Yeah, and it's a very quick shot, but it is brilliantly done.
Yeah.
And they're all just leaving the cave, and it's time to feed, time to kill, time to just slaughter. I mean, look at that, just exiting the cave.
Yeah.
But anyway, don't want to get hit with another or with any pulling. So, yeah, smash that like. Yeah, Lethal does have a foot fetish. We all do know because he loves Brie Larson's fucked up feet.
I'm not going to say
no
anything.
Air Jordans for those feet. Yeah, right? Sam lost all credibility with his mom. He really did look like Eddie Munster.
Oh, yeah, like the kid, pretty much, because the kid is also half vampire. The boy.
Right, because the kid is also half. He was also on the milk carton because back in the day, folks, missing kids were on milk cartons.
Yeah.
And so we get the final night. The vamps are all differently. Brotherly coordination. Yes, when I say brotherly coordination, when they go out to get Nanook coming in, they slide, or there's a part where they're running, and let's see if I can find it because, let's see here. They're setting up. Nanook's outside. Let's go to 121. Oh, well, no, wait, they're already inside. And wow, okay, so yeah, all of them somehow got in to the house without having to be invited. I'm guessing it's because of, well, the master vampire was already invited. So yeah, they're going after Nanook. Let's see if I can get this shot here, because I actually really want to show this, because it's like, holy crap, the coordination between these two was freaking insane. All right, let's see here. Yeah, all right, I'm going to play this for a second. Yep, see how he just drops with him to make sure that he's safe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, was that planned, or is that just brotherly coordination and brotherly love? I mean, he's willing to do everything he can to stop his brother from getting killed, so he just slides down to make sure he can grab his brother and live, so his brother can live. That's called protecting your family, folks. And it's just, I know it's a small thing there, but it really does sell the point that he cares for his brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So then one of the brothers go in and they're like, we're going to kill you all. And he's like, and they pull, and I just love how he's just ripping all their stuff out of their hands as they bring it up. And they're like, look down into the bathtub. Garlic doesn't work on us.
I'd have to look them up because I'm not sure if that's Wayne or Paul. But yeah, like the blonde one, the other blonde one, the long
Marco was killed.
Yeah, Marco was played by Alex Winters. He was killed.
Yeah.
But because garlic doesn't work, boys, because he looks down at the tub.
Yeah, and they're like, well, how about holy water? And then freaking Nana comes in and just pushes the guy in. And it is like one of the most melted deaths. I mean, I love how they're prepping, and it's like vampires all go out in different ways. Sometimes they explode, sometimes they implode, but every time they'll try to take you with them.
Yeah.
And it really is cool because each one of them goes out in different ways. Like that one, he kind of implodes basically implodes the entire water pipe system in the entire house when he gets melted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, that is just nuts, but cool. And it kind of does remind me of an It tribute, really, that scene in the bathroom. Because, well, the bathtub and all. So, then we see another one going after Sam, which is death by stereo, and he explodes. So there's that one.
That's the one that actually, I'd have to look him up, but I want to say I've only seen him in one other thing, and that is the show American Gladiators. I think he was on an episode of American Gladiators.
Yep.
So he's like the one with the long dark hair, but I want to say he was on one of the episodes of that program.
Yeah. And then after they wasted the vampire, they're like, we're like the biggest, the baddest and everything. All this time, freaking Laddie is turning.
Yeah.
And it's like, where did he end up? Because what was he doing? Like hiding under the bed or something, or hiding in the furniture?
Well, I'm not sure, but he was hiding. So basically, Star and Laddie were hiding.
Yeah.
Star was close by because they were about to kill Laddie, and she actually, at the last second, pretty much blocks them from. I gotta look out my room. Blocks them from killing the boy.
Hey, fuck Norris, good to see you. My one problem with the movie, no one forgets their dog. And she is letting the pup out, so we will wait till she gets back. And hail to you, fuck Norris, good to see you. I call him Futch Norris sometimes.
Yeah. Sorry. I'd let my dog out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then we get to the, let's see here, David versus Michael. And David's basically doing the super speed bit, smacking Michael around, then disappearing, smacking Michael around, disappearing, smacking Michael around, disappearing. And then Michael finally turns.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, fine, I'll fight you on your level. So we get the deer antlers, or David is dead by deer antlers, and there's this big old light. So it's like, is he the head vampire? Does make one wonder, doesn't it? And well, nothing has changed. So what happened? And when Max and Mom arrive and you see him react, it's like, okay, all pretense dropped. No reason to. And he basically comes up and it's like, great, the fucking blood-sucking Brady Bunch.
Oh, yeah, when you find out Max is the...
Yep, which is 129, 49. I love this shot here. I mean, this is the big old, or the reveal. And he even does the whole tongue thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah! It's like, yeah, nothing like scaring the hell out of everybody. Scares her. And who comes in after he basically wrecks everybody's shit? Yeah, this is this right here is a freaking Fright Night shot here, folks. With just as Michael's going for him, and he just lays out Michael. And I do love what it's like. Wait, he passed the test and all that. Don't you know anything, you silly little boys? If you invite a master vampire in, you lose all your protections.
Yeah.
So that explains why he has a reflection, why holy water didn't work against him, and, well, garlic doesn't work on them. The only thing that he couldn't cover up was the bad breath.
Yes, that is true to vampire lore.
Yes, they have very bad breath because, well, they're
undead.
Death.
Yeah.
And they're also dead. I could go for some Count Chocula. Thing is, I can't wait for Count Chocula to hit the shelves again because I'm freaking jonesing for it myself.
Yeah.
And how do we get saved? Or how does the head vampire die? Because they literally have a shot that is pretty much shot for shot from Fright Night with the head vampire. And Grandpa comes in with his truck, crashing through the wall, and he had those wooden posts in his back end.
Yeah.
And one of them goes through Max that slams him right into the fireplace. Now, as he's flying back, that looks just like Jerry Dandridge when he got hit with the sunlight, flying backward. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, that's yikes, dude. And
because Max was about to bite the mother because he basically told her, because he had Sam in a headlock, and he told her, it's basically, let me turn you and I'll spare your boys, essentially, or in a sense.
It's basically the damned if you do, damned if you don't, because now the vampire has you cornered, essentially.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then he comes in, or when Grandpa comes in, he's not worried about how his house looks. He's just walking through like nothing is freaking wrong. It's like, oh, great. And I love the line after he takes a swig from his shelf that nobody's allowed to touch. One thing about living in Santa Clara I could never stomach. All the damn vampires. And I'm thinking to myself, the fucker knew all along.
Yes, he knew all along.
Said nothing.
Yeah. I mean, again, to be fair to the grandfather, it's not something people would readily believe unless they experienced it. So that's probably why. And people probably would think, the crazy old coot again, talking about vampires, sort of a scenario. Like no one would readily believe it unless you experienced them yourselves. So, but I like the shot. All you have is the lights from the fridge on Sam and Michael, and then that's like the last shot. It's like the fridge closes, no more lights, cue credits, pretty much.
Yeah. And it's like, oh shit, man. I mean, Gramps knew the entire time, and all these people went through all this shit. It is so freaking great.
Yeah. And
so we roll credits. So let me actually just X out of that because I don't need it anymore. And so how would you rate Lost Boys out of 10?
Objectively, with removing any
bias,
bias, pretty much, I would rate it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
it's a decent 80s vampire flick.
Yes,
that does have some continuity issues when you pointed out where it's with Michael, the difference like with Michael and Star, and they doesn't exactly jive pretty much. But when you add the nostalgia and the bias and everything, I'd rate it like a 9 out of 10.
Definitely.
So
fully agreed on that, folks. 8 out of 10 objectively, 9 out of 10 subjectively. Moviegoer, it's a great 80s horror movie. It works. It's definitely a 10 out of 10 there.
Yeah.
Where you're not deconstructing, you're just basing it on entertainment value alone.
Yeah.
So that will be the singles for August. So September, I'll let you go through the list that I gave you.
I know, like I said, I have the ones I want for December. I already have those picked out.
We got December done, which you may need, or which it's like what? Violent Night and
Krampus.
Krampus, yeah, that's right. Because you got to go horror, folks. When it comes to freaking or horror and, well, let's just say gore.
Yeah.
With Violent Night, I mean, we're gonna have
1 and 2 in December. We're talking Gremlins 1 and 2, and if there's any. If I'm going to narrow down to 2 movies that pretty much cemented my love for like the horror genre growing up and dark comedies in general, it's Fright Night, which we already talked about, and Gremlins.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love talking about Gremlins, and so it's like that's like a dark. That's like the quintessential dark comedy Christmas movie, pretty much.
And when we say dark comedy, they go dark comedy, but they also go dark in one scene. Let's just say that.
It could have been darker. It could have been.
It could have been.
I'm saying, like, I know some trivia where it's like I'm really glad they didn't go that route, because that would have been like straight up dark.
Yeah.
It would have been straight up dark. But yeah. Well, Silver Bullet will be October. That's one of the October movies I know. So. Yeah, I have to look through the list again, because I know at one point I want to talk about Bram Stoker's Dracula and Dracula Untold together, because that has a similar theme of what if Vlad Tepes was actually Dracula.
Well, we can actually we can make Dracula Untold one for September.
We could do that, yeah.
Because the way I see it, October can be not Fright Night, but can be Bram Stoker and Silver Bullet.
Yeah. So, like, when we talk about Dracula Untold, I want to bring up again with Bram Stoker's Dracula how that is a common theme between the two, and that is what if Vlad Tepes actually did become Dracula. So.
All right, so September one of them is Dracula Untold, and we will let you all know when the other one is chosen, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. Mara, let everybody know where they can find you.
Before I do that, I'm going to show you the Google Docs that I sent to Steve, because I play D&D, and we're doing a Call of Cthulhu D&D, and there's going to be vampires at some point. So I'm like, here's your do's and don'ts, Stig. Here's your do's and don'ts. So make sure it's sharing.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah. So let me just zoom in. This is how detailed I got. Oh, wrong one. So this is how detailed I got with them. He's like, here's your do's and don'ts.
Wow. Holy shit, folks. Look at Mara with the vampire rule book that she wrote out herself. Especially
this one right here. Like the vampire characteristics.
Wow.
So I'm pretty much like, here is what you can and cannot do. If you have any questions, ask me, because I'll let you know what deviations there would be with the lore sort of thing, and then go from there, pretty much. Because he was like, what if the vampire is like this? Like, what if the vampire is like that? I'm like, no, it would not work. No, vampires would not do that. No.
Yeah. Alrighty.
So that's my little token spirit guide for Steve. But anyway, you can find me on my YouTube channel. It's my main one is Jade Shadow. I do have a Jade Shadow live channel, which I will be on tomorrow early afternoon, where I go through some pop culture articles and give my perspective on the different articles they give. Talk about 2 or 3, and shortly after that, I go on to Kick. and do a gaming stream in the afternoon. And my plan is to play Armored Core 6 tomorrow afternoon about 1:30 p.m. Eastern. So come check that out for about a couple hours or so, because I take Friday evenings off to basically decompress.
Yep.
Talk Nerdy to Us, which is a stream I do with my nerdy home, will likely... we normally do it at 9 p.m. Eastern Saturday evening. However, I might be hanging out with my siblings Saturday evening, and if that's the case, which I will let her know definitively Saturday morning, Talk Nerdy to Us will be moved to about 8 p.m. Eastern Sunday evening on her channel. So I will tweet, I will tweet it out for everyone if you follow me on Twitter, or X now as it's called, but that's stupid shit. But anyway, so if you follow me there, I'll tweet it out if we're going live Saturday or not. Right. So yeah, and that's my Twitch. I stream there maybe once, maybe twice a week, but I have primarily moved to Kick. So
yeah. As for me, folks, I will have some videos out for you tomorrow, either reviews or content from either Bounding or anywhere else that I find any Hollywood controversial shit going on. Sunday is Infinity Saga Sunday with the Hat Crew. We're talking, or we finally reached Infinity War. I got the talking points down for that today. And Monday, I'm going to be going further insane with Sharknado 5. Christ, pray for me. Then Tuesday is the final finale of the mystery reviews, and it has already been guessed. I am doing training day. And so that is going to be the final of the the cop mystery reviews for August. Tuesdays will then become Tuesday theme streams. You can find me on Mara's channel twice each month with the 1s and 2s. We're doing Evil Dead, I think it is, for September.
Yes, for September, it's Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Alrighty, and September she comes onto my channels on Thursdays. For the weeks of the 1s and 2s, we'll also be doing, or the Thursdays right after each Wednesday, we will be doing the singles because it makes sense to keep them in the same week or same days and whatnot.
Yeah,
or week, rather.
Yeah.
So, yep, one of them will be Dracula Untold, and we'll figure out the other one as time goes on. And yeah, other than that, guest choice. I still do guest choice reviews. If anybody wants to come onto my channel, if they want to discuss a movie and just have a fun time, you get to pick the time, you get to pick the date, you get to pick the movie. The only thing that I get to pick is the venue, and that is my channel. So yeah, if you are also, let's see here. Nope, I have nothing else to chat. Yeah. Oh, also Tuesday nights, I am on the Barroom podcast with Society Reviews, and some of the Hack Crew are on there too. Cole Classic Cage, C.S. Johnson, Rob Movie Motto. Great folks over there, so definitely give them a look. And yeah, other than that, thank you to Futch Norris, Gravy D, Hatersaurus, Soul Assassin, Miss Martin Muses. I know she did a super chat or super sticker. Vanya, RR, who else? Freaky Gypsy Geek Freak 17, Rough Girl. Let's see here. Oops, I accidentally did that.
Gravy, get that blasphemy out of this chat. I do not like Twilight.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't highlight it.
Yeah, no, I do not like Twilight.
Like, I don't want her becoming murderous, folks.
Yeah, they can fuck off with that sparkly vampire shit.
Yeah. I mean, I fully admit, yes, I've seen all of them, but that was during the time that they were actually coming out, and I was, fucking curious as to what kind of weird shit they were doing.
I saw the first movie, and I noped out after that. I was like, nope, can't do that, I'm not doing it.
I've read the books, I've seen the movies, and it's like I haven't touched them since.
Didn't bother reading the books. Learned all I needed to watching the first film, that I would not bother reading the books.
Yep. Trey Courtney as well. Thank you for coming in. And let's see here. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? I believe that is everybody. Oh, no. Eastland Burkholder, thank you for also tuning in. I thank everybody as long as the chat allows me to do it, so folks, because, you know, I care for you all. Christopher Freights, thank you for coming in. Because, you know, I'm still a smaller channel, and it's always good to say thank you to everybody who tuned in. But anyway, thank you all for tuning in. Mara and I are going to head out. Y'all have a great night. And always remember, if you're catching this on the replay, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Leave your comments in the comment section below. What did you think of The Lost Boys? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know all that folks stuff. Anyway, this has been Orange Hat and Mara. Stay humble.
Peace.